Hello, readers. Welcome to 20 Questions with Your Favorite Author, where we ask authors important questions like, why would you agree to be on this podcast? I'm Kelly Lynn Colby, Editorial Director at Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. Our guest this week is Debbie Manber Kupfer, YA fantasy writer and world traveler. Debbie grew up in London. She has lived in Israel, New York, North Carolina, and somehow ended up in St. Louis. She works as a writer, editor, and puzzle constructor. If she's not your favorite now, she will be after. Hello, Debbie. Thanks for putting up with our rough start.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you.
Technology,
Thank you for
man.
having me.
You know, you want to be mad at technology, but you can't, because otherwise we couldn't be doing this at all. And it is so lovely to
Right.
meet you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So you said in your bio there, it said that you were a puzzle constructor. What is that? What does that mean?
I write puzzles, mostly word puzzles, occasionally logic puzzles, mainly for penny press magazines.
Oh.
Those are the magazines you'll find in the grocery store or anything, and you'll probably find my name among the constructors if you turn on the inside of the paper. I have magazines right by me, they're all around me, because this is pretty much my day job. Magazines like that.
So cool. I'm going to 100% look for that now.
Mm-hmm. And I also have a website, Pause for Puzzles, that I put some of my puzzles up on, and I've done some fun puzzle events as well. So it's like I have different hats. I have 3 different hats altogether. So it's
so cool. Well, you have to make a living as a creator, right? You can't just wear one hat.
No. So I have 3. I'm a puzzle writer. I'm an editor, and I'm a writer.
That's awesome. So much fun. How did you land the gig as a puzzle creator?
Well, I've been solving puzzles all my life. And then when I came, you can hear from my accent, I'm not originally from here. I was from England originally. That's
not the St. Louis accent?
No, not really. When I first came here, I was on the East Coast, and I was trying to get jobs kind of in publishing of different kinds, editorial assistant, those kind of things. And I got myself a job, which basically was a secretary. Wasn't that interesting. And I didn't do so great at it, and I ended up getting fired. And that was the best thing that ever happened. Because
you never know, right?
Yeah, when I was fired, I happened at that time to apply for a job at Penny Press as a puzzle editor. And I went in there, interviewed several times, did like puzzly tests and things, and I got the job, and it was like my dream job, and I loved working for them. Eventually, however, my husband, this was on the East Coast, and my husband originally came from St. Louis, and he wanted to come back here. So what eventually happened is, once I was pregnant, had kids, we came back here, and I carried on freelancing for them ever since. So now I write puzzles for them, and I do all the other things. So I've been doing that now for, I don't know, 20 years, something like that. So
raised your kids on it. That's so cool. And that's funny, because we moved to Houston because that's where my husband's from too. Had kid, and we're like, well, he's going to go back to his home. And I'm like you, we traveled more, right? So my home was, That's pretty cool. I'm not the only one. So let's see, you lived not just across the country, but around the world. Which place would you like to go back for a visit?
Well, my heart is always in London, and I would definitely, haven't been back for a few years because COVID. Nobody's traveled anywhere, have they, for a while? So my plan is, eventually, probably not even this year, next year, maybe I'll go back to London for a bit. It is always where my heart is. Although, as I said, I have lived in different places. I lived in Israel. There are places I'd like to visit that I haven't been as well. I would love one day to get to Dublin and to things. Yes. So all things in the future.
Yes, we have long lists, and then we look at plane tickets and we're like, you know what? Galveston's fine. Someday.
Yeah.
So with all of this knowledge of foreign locales, why did you choose St. Louis to place your Shifter series? Pause.
Because actually it's not St. Louis as much as the place I decided was the secret headquarters of Paws. There's a pretty place in Forest Park in St. Louis called the Jewel Box. The Jewel Box is a big greenhouse with lots of pretty flowers and things like that. The thing is, I've never been inside. And for the years when my parents were alive, they used to come and visit us every year in St. Louis, and we'd go to all the places in St. Louis. And my father always wanted to go in the Jewel Box, but every single time we ever went there, it was always closed. And every time I've ever been there, it was always closed. People tell me you can go inside.
Right.
But I thought, well, if you were going to have a secret place, a secret institute hidden in a place,
this would be it.
What better place to do than pick the place that's always closed, so that people come and they look inside, well, this looks really pretty, but I can't go in there.
Hidden in plain sight.
Hidden in plain sight. So that's how I hit upon the Jewel Box as and then it's all spread. And I have, in the Paws world, there are institutes all around the world. It's not just the first book takes place predominantly in St. Louis, but later we go to the Paws Institute in New York, the one in London. We go to Israel.
You pull from that world traveling. Nice.
So in the book I'm writing at the moment that's coming out this summer, I'm putting everything together because I'm actually having a puzzle hunt, an international one, where people are coming from institutes from all around the world. So I'm actually delving a little bit, finding some people from each of the places I've mentioned in the past, bringing them all together, and also having them do puzzles.
That's
in the
so
book.
Cool. How fun is that? What a great idea. We're like, let's interconnect. And fans love that. That's so much fun. I love when you bring back one of my favorite characters and talks to a different character. It's just so much fun. So has your travel experience influenced your novels in any way, or just like where you put the bases, the headquarters?
No, it has. I do. There are most of the places that are in my books I have been to. There are a couple of exceptions. I mentioned before I'd love to go to Dublin. I've never been to Ireland, but I do have a lot in my second book. In Argentum, we go to a little place called Innisfree, which is a little island off of Ireland. I visited there only via YouTube, but it fits the character and the place. And so there's a few places like that I've not visited, but most of the places I have, and they're places that I spent quite a bit of time in and can actually feel the places. I mean, this is the thing about writing urban fantasy, is it's taken place in our world. So it, people will tell you if you haven't got it right, if it's not, taking something you haven't actually been to.
That's true. It's annoying and helpful all at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I do worse because it's not only that, it's historical too. We start in the time of the Second World Wars, so it's kind of like my dates have to match up too. I can't randomly say, oh, this happened. I've done things. Even I have werewolves. I've looked up full moons. I've made sure that things actually make sense with the weather and the time. So there's a lot more behind the scenes than people can see when I'm writing.
That's awesome. That's cool. I like it. I learn a lot of history from historical fiction. It's just more fun that way. So that's nice that you have that element in the Shifter series. That's pretty cool. How long did it take you to finish your first book?
I think it was about 9 months. I think it was about 9 months. It's I've been writing much of my life, but I never finished anything. And then back in 2010, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh.
And
that'll change your perspective.
changed my perspective, because I'd
Mm-hmm.
always thought, well, I can write a book and finish once the kids are older, off to school, I can have more time, do what I want to, do. And then it
Mm-hmm.
changed my perspective and made me think, well, maybe I don't have so much time. So, and also because that year, lots of bad things happened, one thing after the other that year. And I felt like I needed to make something good happen. So the NaNoWriMo of 2012, I decided to do NaNoWriMo. And I sat down and I just sat down and I basically, I got the whole of this story that had been inside me. It just came out. I spent so many hours just writing and writing and writing. And I wrote the first draft of Pause in that 1 month, in that November.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even thinking, oh, I'm going to publish this or anything, just that I needed to do this. I needed to actually
finish a book.
Finish something. Because as I said, I've been writing, but I never took it seriously, never thought it was something, but I always felt like something I wanted to do, but I had time. And then it's, so yeah, all in all, from beginning to end, it was about 9 months, but and since then, now I'm trying to get 2 books out. I'm not one of these fast writers who can release lots of things.
Me neither. I feel you.
It's mostly it's mostly been a book a year, but I'm trying to do 2. I'm trying to do 2 now, because I feel like 6 months is doable. More often than that is not for me. Maybe for some people it works, not for me.
Right. It's like, this is my pace. This is what I'm doing.
So also my books are longer now. They've been getting progressively longer. So it's a longer book takes more time, and there's so many little moving pieces in it all,
Exactly. So talking about Pause, what's up with the pea soup?
Pea soup?
It was even mentioned on the back cover of like book 3 or 4 or something. I was like, what's up with the pea soup?
Pea soup. Oh, yes, pea soup. Well, starting in book 2, I introduced one of my favorite characters. This is an old Welsh warlock called Gromer the Green. And he makes very good pea soup, and pea soup, he believes, is magical. Now, Gromer, only after I'd finished writing the character, was probably one of my favorite characters I've ever written. And he's been reconnected with his old boyfriend, and they live together. And it is such a wonderful relationship between these 2 old men that I love. I loved Gromer and Caradog so much. But Gromer, I realized later on, is actually based on an old relative that I had many years ago that has since passed. And he made wonderful pea soup. And he made me pea soup. And I just had this memory, and I didn't want, I did it maybe when I first was creating him. I didn't realize till afterward what I'd done. And I've done that with quite a few characters. Afterwards, I realized, well, you know what? That's really like this person or this person, but I didn't necessarily write them that way when I consciously do it. So pea soup is a comfort. Pea soup is a thing, a representation of, whatever. And he has his own magical part of that. And then there's this magical creature plant called the Whizzlewhoop that helps with all that too. So
what a fun name. That's awesome. Og agrees with you. He says split pea soup is pretty darn amazing. So you're not the only one. It's well loved. I need enough ham in it though. I need the ham. Let's see. We authors tend to pull from what's familiar. Which one of, like the pea soup, right? Like the characters that are just in your head. You're like, wait, I know that person. So which one of your characters do you relate to the most?
Well, there's quite a few, actually. I mean, definitely Miri, my main character. There's a lot of me in Miri. And Miri is only really the main character in the first book because we kind of diversify in my books.
Okay.
She is overall there in the background later, but she only became as the central role. But the things that happened to her at the very beginning, particularly how she first finds her magic, is very related to my own life. I was also very close to my Omama, my grandmother, my Omama, who died when I was 10. And that's the catalyst for her story. And it's kind of the catalyst for my story of my life too. And she was a kid who was bullied. So was I. She was a kid who escaped into by writing stories or reading stories, and particularly she loved Alice in Wonderland. Same, a lot of those things come from my my childhood. So yeah, and that's probably Miri more than anything else. But I definitely, a lot of characters, there's a little of me in a lot of my characters, I would say. I don't think in one of my other books outside of the Poor Saga, if anybody reads my vodka and watermelon story, it's called Will There Be Watermelons in Mars, which is not YA. It's an adult story, has some adult language and stuff in it. That character, Susie, is absolutely me. There's nobody else that she can be but me. It's only very, very low. That is very related to my. That's an end of the world, a possible end of the world story, and we don't have the end of the world, but it's a lot related to being in Israel and in Jerusalem during the first Gulf War and what it was like, and it has a lot of that Susie in that cat story is absolutely me 100%.
That's so cool. You split your personality.
Yeah.
Well, what project that's in progress or not started are you most excited about?
Not started. Well, this will
or in progress.
Well, no. I'll answer the question as it is, because I'm not allowing myself to write this until I finished the Poor Saga. So I'll tell the Poor Saga keeps going. And I'm currently working on Refed, the book with the puzzle hunt that's coming out in June. But year or two ago, I had this sudden idea about this kid who was born on in the entrance to hell, and I wrote the first chapter of this thing, and it's lovely. And it's first person, different from
lovely. It's the entrance to hell. I don't know if
it's wonderful.
The right word.
He was born under they were born under a bad sign. Welcome to hell is how we start the book, and it's so much fun to write, and I'm not writing it, not yet. I have to finish what I'm doing, otherwise I'll get caught up in this other thing, and I mustn't
go back to not
that.
finishing things. That's right.
That's exactly the point. So I wrote the original chapter, put it away, and I will go back to it when I am done with Pause, however long that will take.
That's so awesome.
So,
that sounds fun. Poor kid.
I don't know. They'll come.
I mean, at least the entrance, not not
be
in hell. It could have been worse. Could have been worse.
That was fun. It's like
That's right. Well, if you could write in any world that wasn't your own, which one would you choose?
Probably going to say Potter's World, the Harry Potter world, just because I have fan fiction ideas in there, but yeah,
there's so much in there, right? So
there's so much in there. Yeah,
so really much in that world. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
she did a great job with that part. Holy moly.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Oh, sorry, not what. Where? One of those other W words. Where's your favorite place to write?
I unfortunately have to write by my computer here in my messy space. I do occasionally puzzles I can take out to a place. Puzzles I can take to Starbucks or McDonald's or something and work on that. But writing I have to type on my computer, otherwise it doesn't get done. There are a few exceptions to that. I have a short memoir about my cancer that's out on, it's called The Big C. It's out online. That one I originally wrote out by hand, like in a notebook when I was out in a place, but mostly I don't do that because that's what I did when I was younger, when I didn't finish things. I would write out when I was out in the place, and then when I came back, it would never make it from the script concept to there. So that's why, no, mostly I have to write. Unfortunately, I have to write here.
It's fair. It's fair. Yeah, I try. I have to always move locations. Og wants to know, do writers often think of stories in other authors' worlds?
Oh, I think they do sometimes. I mean, one thing I love to do, I love to make my characters read other authors' books, especially in the other indie authors. I've done that in virtually every book I've got some, at least once or twice, I have people reading books from my other indie author friends, which is kind of a feel.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the time, man. There's a reason why there's fan fiction, right? I mean, constantly. I mean, the first stories I ever wrote were Star Trek stories, because that's what I was watching. That's what I was into. Dragonlance, first fantasy I wrote because I was reading Dragonlance. So, Yep. See, and then Greg in that thing too, also a writer, and he said that, that's how he got started too. Writing in other people's worlds. So it's very common. That's why people are all like poo-poo on fan fiction. I'm like, no, man, you start wherever you start. That's how you learn, right?
Well, I also feel like if anybody ever I have a little bit of fan art, and but if anybody ever writes fan fiction in my world, that's when I would feel like I've made it, really, honestly.
Yes. Then you're like, there it is. That's it.
Yes.
Because you've impacted someone so much. They've internalized these characters in this world so much that they have to express their feelings about it. So 100% agree. That's how you know you've made it. It's not a paycheck. It's not a certain place your book is being sold. It's not but people are starting to do fan, writing or drawing fan art. Then you're like, there it is. I've done it. That's awesome. So we'll have to have you back on when that happens. You got to tell us, Debbie, so we can. That would be so cool. Someday. It's an artist's dream. Where's your... Oh, I asked you that one. Sorry. I got so distracted. I was so excited about that question. It's a fun question. When you're not creating new worlds, what do you like to do to relax?
I read. I play games. I do other... what else do I do? I do sometimes, despite the fact that I write puzzles, I still solve other people's puzzles a lot.
That makes sense.
I go
Keeps
for
the brain
a walk.
active, right?
Yeah, I go for walks around the neighborhood. That helps me think too. I'd like to do that. In a different time, I would also say I like to go to concerts with my daughter, and I hope to again, but we haven't for a while because there. So yeah.
Yep. It's exciting to get back to the concert world. Love live music.
Me too.
So what have you read or watched lately that you've really enjoyed?
Okay. And now I have to think what I'm doing. I'm reading a really beautiful book at the moment. But I have to do it justice. Hold on.
You're like, wait, I'm going to get the right name. Hold on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I have to do it justice. I have to get to my Goodreads and give you, because I don't remember the author's name at the moment. The book is called The Girl with the Silver Star, and it's by an author called Rachel Solotov. It is a beautiful story, and I highly recommend it. And that's what I'm immersed in at the moment.
That's fabulous. Have you found because you edit and you write that that has affected your enjoyment of reading?
Sometimes I do enjoy reading, though. I try, and I would say I can sometimes say I'm involved in, like, sometimes in as much as like 3 or 4 worlds at once because of this. Because I'll have the world I'm writing in, then the world I'm editing in for somebody else, and then the world I'm reading for myself. And
Right.
sometimes there might, sometimes if I'm in different spots, I'm editing one of my books and writing another one. I could be in 2 different parts of that or something. So.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. Me too. I have to watch it. I find that I don't finish books if I'm not enjoying them. It's like I have to read things that I'm not enjoying for a living, right? Because as I'm editing it, right? Because it's work. So I don't mean they're bad stories. I just mean this is work.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I used to be, I would always finish a book. I don't care if I started, I was finishing it. And now if I start reading a book and I'm just not enjoying it, I'm like, life's too short. Next book. Doesn't even mean the book's bad. I just might not be enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a mood thing for me too. It's like I will start when I'm starting a new book. I might open up my Kindle, which has so many books on it, and I might read a chapter or so from a few different books before I hit on this is what I want to read now. And it doesn't mean that the other books were bad or that I won't go back to, but it's just not my mood at the moment.
Exactly. It's definitely a mood. That's why I'm usually, like you said, I read like 3 or 4 books at the same time because they're all different. So depending on my mood, this is the one I'm reading tonight. Yep. I think it's a healthy way to go about. And let's see, we have reached the quick question, exciting part of the podcast. Okay. I mean, not that it wasn't exciting already, but these are the routine ones we must ask. It is required. So the first question is, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
I'm telling you, that's what we need to start putting at a question. I'm telling you, more authors like mint chocolate chip than any others. We have definitely come to a consensus.
You need a chart or something then.
I need to go back. The problem is there's like 60 episodes now. I should have started doing it from the beginning to see what it is, but I'm telling you. Let's see. So, can zombies climb?
As long as they still have the parts of their body that will allow them to do it. So yes, at the beginning, but once they lose like their limbs and stuff, they won't be able to anymore.
So they won't anymore. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. All right. So if you could meet one idol, and this could be a writer idol or, it could be any music idol.
Neil Gaiman.
You're like, this is easy. Done.
It's easy. That's really, really easy because that's the person I really want to meet.
He used to come all the time, and I didn't know that, to Houston. So he would come and do talks, and I had no idea. So, and then I'm like, when's he coming back? But like you said, no one's traveling right now. So, but I'll be looking. Hopefully he'll come back, and I'll get to at least see him on stage, if not meet him. But no, that's a brilliant choice.
That's my choice.
Yeah. What is the best thing you have ever, or at least recently, eaten?
It was called an Irish bash. Okay, picture this.
Okay. This
is a dessert that they used to serve in the Wetherspoons pubs in London.
Okay.
It was a white chocolate cheesecake with Irish cream poured over the top of it. It is the most wonderful thing you can ever eat.
That sounds delicious. Can we make some of that now? I mean, I can make white chocolate cheesecake. Let's get this. I can do this. What was the crust? Was it like graham cracker crust, or was it like a pie crust?
I can't even remember because the crust wasn't the important part.
Did I mention Irish cream?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. And what is your least favorite chore around the house?
Oh God, I hate just putting stuff away. The junk is everywhere. I always say when people ask what superpower you want, and I don't know if it's one of the things you're going to ask me, is I want Mary Poppins power. I want to be able to snap my fingers and just make the stuff clean itself.
No,
that is what I want.
Doubt. Apparently, we all need to have that prestigiation, very long word that Dolly says so well that I can't say. We need this. We need that thing so we could just clean everything. It would be awesome.
Yes, exactly. Because that's the thing. Just picking up all the junk that just seems to accumulate everywhere.
Yes, please. Oh, as Zafo types it out so easily. How did you do that? You must have copied and pasted it. Come on now. Spelling's not your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I typed that. Mm-hmm.
Well, good job. I'm impressed.
Very nice.
Big words. So we're writers. You think I can handle it?
Mm.
Og says his wife already has that skill. All he has to say is she looks at me and says, "Clean the kitchen."
That skill doesn't work with my husband.
I know it doesn't work with my husband either. So apparently her training regimen was better. That's all. Mine sucked. All right. So now, Debbie, that you are everyone's favorite author, where can fans find you and your work?
Okay, you can find me on my author page on Facebook and on Twitter. I do not yet do Instagram, but I will someday, but I don't at the moment. I have a blog at debbiemanberkupfer.wordpress.com. I have on there, you will also find a link to my newsletter that's called Pause Post that I send out once a month, and you can pick up my Tales from Pause stories for free if you sign up for my newsletter.
Nice.
I'm also, my books are on Amazon. My books, I also sell side books off my website, of that blog too. And that's mainly it. I've got Goodreads too, if you want to do that as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Seems like you're out there, man. People can find you, which is great because they should.
And people can find me anyway because my name is long. If you just type my name, Debbie Manber Kupfer, into Google, you'll find me all the places where I'm at.
You're like, it's my name. No one else can have it. That's awesome. So thank you so much. Please, everyone, make sure to review Debbie's work, and please review us wherever it is you get your podcasts. You can also subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitch. We actually won't see you next week. Next week is spring break, so we're taking it off. So that'll be fun, but we'll be back the week after. So we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.